So we can initialize, and we might say there are 2 teams, maybe 3 teams, and 2 athletes each. And then when we input the data, we say what is the name of sport team 1. And this is a lot of writing, well, input. That's why my suggestion to you is don't randomly throw values in there. Rather have test data on hand so that you can test this correctly. And then how many sports meets, and then I'm just going to put in 1. And how much is the stipend? 100, and 1 gold medal, 1 silver, and 1 bronze. And then A2 is the name of the second athlete. And then how many sports meets? They had 5 sports meets and maybe 9,000 rand. And then they had 2 gold medals, 0, 0. And what is the name of sports team 2? B, and then B1. And how many sports meets? 1. And then how much is maybe 750. How many gold medals? 0 gold medals. 5 silver medals, 2 bronze medals, and then B2. And let's just go 1, and then here 150 there, and 0, 0, 0. This is an athlete that's not very successful. And then sport team C. What is the name of athlete 1? C1. And then how many sports meets did athlete 1 attend? Let's say they attended 9. And what is the stipend? Let's say it's 7,890 rand. And how many? Well, they got 15 gold medals and 10 silver medals and 6 bronze medals. And then C2 is how many sports meets? They haven't gone to any sports meets yet. How much is the stipend? 400 rand. And how many? 0, 0, 0. Okay. Then when we calculate the medal score, you can see that, okay, calculations are done. And calculate the best athlete. Okay, so this is an example of really bad test data. And the reason for that is, anyone can comment why this is terribly bad data, test data? Already, just based on what we see? No? Well, using same numbers, yes. Okay, Joe Mabasu, you want to speak up again? Go ahead.
Oh, isn't it because you use 0 for athlete 2 for team 2 and 3? The athlete 2 has 0 as a medal score, so you're not quite sure if it's actually calculating the right index or not.
Okay, well, all right. Jay Oliver's also, LK Malinga is going, there's only 2 athletes, and Jay Oliver is saying best athlete is 1 always. Need to test if best athlete 2 will work also. Okay, Jay Oliver, your answer is the most perfect answer here. You're right. The problem here is not so much if it's 0. I mean, you know, it is possible for athletes to have 0 as a score because, you know, they're just not that successful. But what is more important is that you want to test that your algorithm works correctly. Now, to work at the best athlete, the idea was to figure out which of these 2 values is the higher number. And you'll notice that, remember, our algorithm works as follows. The first occurrence of the highest number will be the highest. And so 6 and 6 are maybe the same values, but then they're just going to go, well, 1 is the answer. But you'll notice that for team B, the best athlete is 1 again. And for C, the best athlete is 1 again. If you're going to play this game, rather test your program so that you know that the best athlete can be a 1, can be a 2 sometimes, and can be a 1. So it's not so much that there's only 2 athletes. It's more a problem of how do we know that this best athlete algorithm worked correctly. Okay, T. Demoye is also the best athlete will always be 1. How do we know that our test data actually worked, or maybe our algorithm was actually wrong and it is going to give us 1, 1, 1 as the incorrect answer all the time? So when you work out your test data during your design, try to make sure that your best athlete will end up being at least a 2 sometimes, so that this will actually give us a correct answer. Okay, P1 is going, hi Prof, is there an easier way to write the test data and work within a short space of time, since it takes almost an hour to work correctly in the program? Well, our suggestion to you, and Mr. Labia has also shown this in his tutorials, is that we suggest you use something like Excel. And the reason why we use Excel to play around with the values is that once you have your Excel sheets set up properly, you can then play around with the input values so that we can say, well, I noticed that this is going to give me a 1, you know, this is going to give me best athlete 1, but this one should give me athlete 2, as long as the values I input are going to give me these you know, a bigger medal count value for athlete 2 in some instances. All right, so when we calculate the team score, you can see that there is a team score. Now, as I said, you should have test data prepared beforehand so that you can look at your test data and look at the input, the calculations that are on your in your VB program, just to see if the calculations are done correctly, because you as a human being, you would know how to perform the calculations and you would work out the answers correctly. So if you find that when you write code and the program gives you back incorrect values, you would then go, oh no, there is something I'm doing wrong in my code. All right, then there's the team ratings, and you can see again it is a problem. It's just giving you AAA. And yeah, that's just indicative that your test data is a problem. Look, this does not mean your program's not working. It can, you know, your program could be working 100%. My issue with this is that your test data is not testing your program as extensively as you should. But moving on, if we were to calculate the best team, we can all tell that the best team should be, well, visually, if you look at this, the best team obviously should be C, and you notice that it gives you the value C. All right, but in your test data, the idea is come up with values and variations where the answer is not always going to be 111 for best athlete and team ratings AAA. Play around with the data that you input into the program and see what happens.